Hello, my name is Dr. Kris Arnold of Live Well Chiropractic, and I want to welcome you to our inflammation presentation here. We're going to go over some great information to help you get healthy and live the best life possible. So inflammation is kind of the big term that's kind of associated with a lot of issues and conditions. We're going to cover a wide gamut of things today. And really what I tell people is inflammation is anything in your body that ends in itis, whether it's arthritis, gastritis, colitis, whether it be sinusitis. Those are all just different inflammations that's showing up in different parts of the body. They all have some similar root causes. We want to talk about that and also some solutions that we're going to actually go over for you. So it's all about inflammation, how it affects your body, and how to get healthy. So purpose of the presentation today is kind of learn different types of inflammation, how it can impact your health, what you can do to fix it, and also if you have friends with inflammation, to let them know about what we do here at Live Well and being a real source of inflammation fighting and actually getting them healthy. So let's just kind of be simple about this. First of all, inflammation is really a defense mechanism inside your body. So your immune system, we kind of think about is really kind of our defense mechanisms. That's kind of the force field that surrounds us on the outside and also the inside. Really, your inflammation is really a immune reaction. Your immune system is really reacting to in this little section, middle section here. It could be a foreign body. It could be a splinter. It gets inflamed, right? Right as soon as you get a splinter. It could be a thorn. It could be an irritant, chemicals. It can be a pathogen. You get a cold and your sinuses get inflamed, right? So they get really large. The pathogens can be anything, bacteria, viruses, parasites. It could be any type of things. Toxins. We kind of talked a little about that. When you're exposed to different things in food, your skin gets reactions and stuff, right? So comes out in the skin, but that's also inflammation causing that. So those are all different causes. And remember, there's something there that your body's reacting to that's causing this issue. And we'll come back to that later because if you remove the reaction, the inflammation will go down, which is the key, not just suppressing the reaction, which is what most medical teams do instead of getting really to the root cause of it. So let's kind of talk a little bit about the kind of signals that people most see as far as if you have inflammation. First of all, it's going to be pain. That area, joint's going to swell. If you, again, damage an area, it's going to swell up. It's also going to be very warm. If you get a splinter, you touch it, it's going to be really warm. Same thing with your fever, with your head. Sinuses are going to be very warm. Redness, you're usually going to see a lot of red that's coming out in the skin. Swelling, the joint is going to be really large. If you have arthritis in the knee, you understand this perfectly. Or loss of function, meaning is you can't use it. Or if it's an organ system on the inside, like your liver or like your thyroid that becomes inflamed, that you're going to start to see blood work that's going to be changed, that function of that organ is going to be lost. So it can show up in much of different ways. So how does inflammation affect your body? This is where we're going to show the wide breadth of what inflammation can do. Any part of your body, any organ system can be affected. So like kidneys, it can be hypertension. Lungs, we think about inflammation is showing up as allergies, asthma, skins, rashes, eczema, is all inflammation of the skin. Thyroid, that's thyroid hormones being disrupted. Brain, anytime you have concussion or brain damage and stuff, it's really inflammation is the long-term effect of the concussion. Obviously, the initial things where you kind of lose consciousness and when you come back, those are people who have symptoms a month or even a day or weeks or months afterwards. Those are all just inflammation of the brain actually showing up. Liver can be very inflamed. They give it all kinds of alcoholic liver. Right now, they're actually calling it toxic liver, is another name for a liver that's inflamed. Muscles, obviously, muscle pain. Those are the muscle cramps or the sore areas that when people are working out and massaging, you're going to feel that. Cardiovascular, any type of heart issue, condition is going to be inflammation, especially we're looking at atherosclerosis is inflammation around the blood vessels, whether it be your heart. If there's damage to your heart, that's where it's actually going to show up as heart damage. GI tract, we talk about celiac, Crohn's, GERD, colitis, gastritis, anything along those lines is still that itis is inflammation in that area. And obviously bones, whether it be osteoporosis, whether it be arthritis, those are all going to be signs of joint issues. So again, inflammation can be wide, broad spectrum, and we only covered a small portion of it just in this graphic here. But really what comes down to inflammation is there's the initial acute and then there's the chronic. Initially is actually very, very good. I'm glad we had this initial reaction. It's anything from like cuts, lacerations, things get obviously inflamed around it. Thank God. Traumas, burns, infections, chemical irritants. Your body's kind of expressing stuff. Even if you eat something you're allergic to, what does your body kind of do? Is trying to push it out through the skin. That's where you get the hives. That's inflammation. Get rid of things. Thank God. We have that acute inflammation. So the acute thing is to kind of protect us initially. And if that acute lasts for a couple days or a week, we're fine, right? But when it starts to drift into going on for months or years or decades, that inflammation stuff, that's not a problem, or that is a huge problem. That's not the way your body was designed. Basically, your body can't get rid of the irritant. It just kind of keeps producing. So back to the splinter analogy, there's a splinter in there. It just won't come out. It'll fester forever until that splinter actually comes out. If you can get it out in a week, that's great. But if it lasts there for a long period of time, see how it's going to draw on your body. Same thing if it's an infection. It's going to draw out for a long period of time. Not good. It shows your body is losing the ability to adapt that. If it's a liver's not getting rid of all the toxins. So again, that fatty liver or toxic liver is just going to keep being a problem over and over again. So chronic inflammation goes from short term to long term, now showing up cardiovascular disease. Rheumatoid arthritis is long term inflammation into a joint. Autoimmune disease. So just back to arthritis, for an arthritic joint to show up and stuff, sometimes has to be there for 5, 10, 15 years before you actually develop arthritis. It was starting and causing inflammation way before the arthritis actually showed up. Autoimmune diseases, neurological diseases with the brain, Parkinson's, all those things are neurological issues that are showing up as far as inflammation in the brain, and also cancer. Cancer is inflammation around those cells that are actually growing rapidly. So those are the signs of chronic. Acute, good. Chronic is not good. And that's where most of the long-term health issues show up that we need to address and get corrected. So how do we look at that and how do we measure if you have inflammation? So we know it's present in higher levels of certain substances or biomarkers, or tests will show up. So really the test that we look at that's going to be kind of the bellwether is the two right there. Is called ESR, and also C-reactive protein. Those are the two blood tests. If those are elevated, know you have inflammation. Unfortunately, both of those tests are generic, meaning is it don't show the specific body region, but it will show if there's inflammation anywhere in your body. We also look at some other ones like ferritin, cholesterol, and platelets. Those are also other blood tests that will actually show if you have inflammation in your body. All of those will be elevated with inflammation. Platelets will actually be decreased if you have inflammation in your body. So we also have to kind of balance out. Sometimes CRP will actually be elevated a little bit in some older individuals. So it's not always tried and true, but it is usually a good indicator and will help you look at least blood work to see if there isn't some screening or inflammation going on in your body you might be aware of. And then we want to talk a little bit about a term called inflammation or inflammaging. So it's about the term about how inflammation will cause you to age faster. And this will be showed up in a couple different ways. This is an x-ray of a normal hand, and this is an x-ray if someone has arthritis. See how the joints are really disjointed, really breaking down, loss of issues. You can see this person's going to age much faster. Over here, the same thing is the two people the same age. The right obviously has no inflammation in their skin, a lot of their body. The left one, you can see a lot of inflammation around the face. There's actually going to be more wrinkles. There's going to be more swelling. You're just going to age a lot faster the more inflammation you have in your body. So that's where inflammation is the core root cause of so many health issues. The more inflammation you have, the faster you're going to age, which is what we need to reverse because we all don't want to age before we have to. Increased risk factors for inflammation. As the older you get, the body usually collects more toxins, more exposures, more issues. You have more of a tendency to have more inflammation if you're overweight. If you have a diet that's not good, which we'll talk about diet here in just a second. Smoking, stress. The stress can be a huge factor as far as inflammation, and also sleep. If your body's not recovering, you're going to be more inflamed in general. So a couple other things is inflammation painful? And the answer is yes. We already talked about that as one of the key bellwether factors. So that's going to be more around in your joints. So that could be anything that pain, constant, steady, throbbing, pulsing, stabbing, pinching, whether that be in the muscles of your back, shoulder, neck, whether it be in the joints and stuff. Pain is going to be due to a buildup of swelling. Inflammation and swelling also goes hand in hand. The more joint is swollen, the more it's going to be inflamed. That's why people are more reactive to the weather. They have the arthritic knee that tells them when the weather's coming in, the low pressure when it moves in, which usually means the storms, allows the swelling to become more, and that's what's causing more pain. That's so why the arthritic knee is an issue. Arthritis spine, obviously, we see lots of this. This is a normal looking spine disc. You can see the holes here where the vertebra, where the spinal cord actually exits into the nerves that go to your different body parts. Now you can see when arthritis sets in, you see the discs start to lose space. The holes here become a lot smaller. Just looks really not good. There's bone spurs that develop on the front of the spine. So this is what, when I look at an x-ray, I can see if someone has a lot of inflammation in the body, you're going to see a lot of arthritis, arthritic conditions. So if someone said you have degenerative joint disease, degenerative disc disease, arthritis, bone spurs, that's all going to be what's going to show up on your x-ray. Again, you can kind of see here, this is a normal looking knee. You can see again, the spacing here is not the same. You see lots of problems in that area. So this is increased stress due to weight, posture, bad habits, even trauma can disrupt this joint tissue. And then we'll start to see where the joints right here is very smooth. The next step is you're going to start to see jaggedness. And when you see that jaggedness, that's where you see the grinding of the joints. That's how I break down even further. So again, remember, talked a little bit about the spinal issues, but inflammation can be all throughout your body, whether it be internal organ systems, brain, digestive system are all major factors with inflammation. And that's why we kind of talk about our programs here with our nutritionists through chiropractic care. Everything we do is kind of comes back to these root causes, inflammation being the trunk. These are the causes of inflammation. This is the inflammation tree, and then this leads to all these diseases. So root causes could be hormones, toxins we talked about, inflammation that kind of is driving some of that structure, toxic chemicals, inability to detoxify your body, immune balances, digestive problems, microorganisms inside your gut, mitochondrial dysfunction is all going to cause inflammation. That's going to lead to autoimmune disease, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, arthritis, fibromyalgia, and obesity. So the game plan is to kind of start chopping off these roots. The roots kind of die, the trunk goes away, the tree goes away, right? Which is a lot of the issues that most people present to our office with. So, but the issue is we have to work with underlying root causes. So what we also have to do is look at the current treatments right now do not work, as we kind of said, is the body's reacting to something that shouldn't be there. So when you give people what's called NSAIDs, so those are over-the-counter medications that are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, decrease inflammation in the body. Yeah, your joints feel better, but as soon as that pill wears off, you're back to the same pain and stuff. So it didn't really solve the underlying issues. Same thing with steroid injections and stuff that makes people feel better for a short period of time, gets rid of the inflammation. That's the pressure. That's where the pain is coming from, but it doesn't solve the underlying issues. So that's why it usually comes back again. Usually with NSAIDs, it's usually within a couple hours or a couple days it comes back. Steroids actually be in a week or a month, and you get at least a little bit of relief, but it's still going to come back. So neither of them fix the problems. Neither of them are safe. Most of them have some serious side effects. So let's look at inflammation. What is the true source of it? A lot of it is nutritionally based. So if you can change your nutrition, you can change inflammation pretty dramatically. I kind of still remember a story of a lady coming in. Hers probably goes back almost 15 years ago. Severe arthritis in her knee, wasn't able to walk. Said she was going to lose her job. Within 6 months of stuff, we had her dancing at a polka festival, which is kind of neat. So it's actually, and all she really did was change some of the foods that she was eating, mostly gluten, and she was actually able to return back to work and worked and finished out her career and was actually able to retire without any problems. So that's what can be powerful when you're changing nutrition. So we do have a couple things with nutrition. Obviously, obesity, if you're eating the wrong foods, it's going to show up as far as fat in your body. It's also going to cause more inflammation. Also, insulin resistance. If you have diabetes, it's going to cause some major problems. Inflammatory foods really come down to junk foods. Makes sense, people. Come on. Anything that's processed, anything that puts chemicals in it to make it last longer on the shelves and stuff is going to not be good for you. So junk foods, desserts, pastries, candies, chips, refined carbohydrates, including some breads, white rice, white potatoes, usually more inflammatory, fried food, fast food, Sugars, processed meats and the deli and stuff. Again, when a meat is around for again months along and not breaking down, you know it's not good for you. Trans fats, excessive omega-6 fatty acids. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Your omega-6 is one of the biggest culprits for inflammation in your body. It's called linoleic acid. It's something that's in our diet is becoming more and more prevalent, and we've seen more linoleic acid being added to our diets. We're seeing more and more issues showing up across the board. The problem with it and why linoleic acid is now being added to a lot of our foods and stuff is because it actually increases shelf life. It actually helps butter stay soft, or I guess it's not butter, it's margarine, which is really plastic. So it's just really kind of creating a lot of those characteristics that we like about our food, the convenience of our food, but it's actually causing some serious effects. So linoleic acid's major sources are vegetable oils, nuts and seeds, processed snacks, grains, whole grains, wheats, oats, barley, contains some poultry. Now, poultry depends on where the poultry is raised on. If it's free range, meaning is it eating bugs, eating grass stuff, the linoleic acid is very low. But if it's feeding grains, just like we eat grains, we get a lot of omega-6s. It's also going to show up in your chicken, show up in the eggs, and also your dairy products, pork and beef. So again, if you have grass-fed beef that only eats grass-fed and not grain-fed, you're going to see a lot lower omega-6s. Those are actually the healthiest to consume. But if you're getting your meat processed and you don't know where it's grown or what it's eating, then it usually is going to be a really highly grain-fed. It's going to have lots of fat in it, and that fat's going to be a lot of omega-6s. But if you eat a grass-fed beef, it is going to have some fat. If you eat that fat, it's going to actually have more omega-3s in it, which is going to be good. Certain thing with fish, you have to be very careful with fish and stuff. A lot of now are being farm-raised fish. Those are probably the most toxic fish that you can eat because they're fed grain to actually grow them and stuff versus in the wild and stuff. They're eating, you know, other fish. They're eating seaweed, all that kind of stuff. That's where they should be feeding on, not grains. Tofu and soy also is very high in omega-6s. So if you want to eliminate as much of these from your diet, the more you eat, the worse it is. So I know for me, one of my biggest things is I love nuts and stuff. So I've been trying to reduce the number of nuts that I've been eating just because they can be good. Nuts in general are decently healthy, but just you don't want to overburden your body with too much omega-6s. Anti-inflammatory foods or anything vegetable-wise, fruit-wise, blueberries, raspberries, fatty fish, broccoli, green tea, peppers, virgin olive oil, dark chocolate, tomatoes, and cherries are all anti-inflammatory foods. We also talked a little about your omega-3s and omega-6s. Do you know if you increase your omega-3s, this is a study that showed that consuming EPA, DHA, which is a form of omega-6, basically can inhibit inflammatory mediators. This approach can be similar to anti-inflammatory benefits of NSAIDs. So what you can do instead of taking your NSAIDs, your over-the-counter medication, is if you just increase your omega-3s, you can actually get as much of a reaction if you're taking meds. Plus, omega-3s are so much better for your body and healthier for your heart, healthier for your liver, healthier for your kidneys. So it's almost a no-brainer you do it. So fish oil, people, if you're not taking a good quality, high-quality fish oil for inflammation, you're missing the boat. Some of the other herbs and stuff that we talk about is turmeric. Our turmeric here specifically is really geared to, and we get the best results with the turmeric we have because it's paired with a carrier molecule. Turmeric in itself, if it's in your blood, will do very good to get rid of inflammation. Probably the best herb you can take for inflammation, but it's hard to get into your blood. If you consume it, eating it wise, or in a supplement, and it doesn't have a carrier molecule, you're absorbing very little of it. You put a carrier molecule like pepperine or black pepper. You also combine it with fenugreek seed. You get absorption of over 200% for pepperine, 400% for fenugreek seed into your blood where it actually can work. So that's why our turmeric is so beneficial because it already gets mixed with the fenugreek seed. Boswellia is another herb that we use to actually get some really good results. It's a sister product of turmeric. It's just a different herb that's used again more in eastern part of the world and stuff, but it's really great success. And Ligaplex. Ligaplex is another supplement that's not herbal like Boswellia and turmeric, but it just really has some good base products to help regenerate joints and also tissue. So we use a lot of Ligaplex in our office. Again, but the core thing is to get rid of a lot of these root issues, to get rid of, cut down that inflammation so a lot of these disease issues can go away. How do we do that is we do a 9 root cause of health imbalances. We look at the mitochondrial energy, lymph blockages, toxicity load, immune balance, digestion, absorption, more or less the health of your gut, cardiovascular, heart health, hormone imbalances, emotional stress, and structural imbalances. So this is kind of what we take people through with our nutritional program that our nutritionist does and stuff. So she actually has ways to assess all 9 of these root causes to see where is your source of inflammation coming from, and what are the steps that are necessary to actually start to making changes in all those 9 root causes, which is kind of great. So inflammation and exercise. So the other thing that's kind of counterintuitive stuff that people aren't aware of is that inflammation. Oh, sorry, let me go back here. Previous is that actually exercise can actually be a great source to actually get rid of inflammation. So it is something that you can do to help your joints move. Even though I know you're painful when you do exercise, it's still very beneficial for you to do it. So it's taking long walks, trying yoga, even body weight exercises, mobility exercises, taking a bike riding, even some gentle stretches, gentle movements and stuff also help out with inflammation, especially of the joints. So even though it's sore to do, the more you do it, the more your inflammation is going to go down and it's actually going to be better. So anyway, so make sure you check that out. So the next thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is some other little biohacks that we can kind of do to actually help overcome some of these. So what we're going to do is talk about pulse electromagnetic field therapy. We're going to talk about how the PMF is actually able to help out with it. It's actually PEMF is something we've had for now 3 years in our office and just gets phenomenal results when it comes to arthritis and the inflammation in your gut, brain. Use it for concussion cases and stuff and get great results. So it's really a kind of a neat tool. It's something you sit in a chair or lay on this bed, and you actually have this little instrument that uses a pulsed electromagnetic field that puts this magnetic field around your body that helps push inflammation, pull toxins out, and also help increase energy into the cell so it can heal and recover. It does phenomenal work. This is kind of a story of our Miss Amelia. Miss Amelia kind of shows the importance of the adjustment and also with the supplementation and also with the PMF made a huge difference for her. So this poor young girl, you would not know, when she first started care, was only in the age of 9 and had severe rheumatoid arthritis, a juvenile arthritis where her joints were swollen. She was painful. She couldn't move. Her mom said every time she would be in the nurse's office 2 or 3 times a day with pain, and it was just so severe. She was on multiple heavy medications and stuff. I think 9 or 10 medications. It was very severe. Her mother was just a wit's end because even with all the medication, wasn't getting better. So I did want to point out to you, Miss Amelia is smiling in this picture because the other end of the story is she's now off of all but 2, but I don't think they're doing anything anyways. Her mother's going to try to push next time she goes to the doctor to actually get off of them, so she'll be off all her meds. She has no pain. She's back to gymnastics. She walked in Halloween parades this past year without any pain and stuff, so she's just doing phenomenal. So that shows what we can do with. She did PMF with the adjustments. She also takes her turmeric regularly. Her mother knows when she goes and does something really super active, she gives her extra turmeric, which you can do to really get her inflammation down, and she can live a normal kid's life and stuff. She's not in a nurse's office. She's able to do and have fun like all the rest of her kids and do gymnastics, which was her goal. Here's Doug Meyer said again with his adjustments and PMF, feel 100% better, knees don't hurt, body doesn't take as long to recover, and feel better when doing strenuous things. So inflammation, you strain your body, it's going to usually be sore the day after. And again, if you get adjusted, do what we're talking here, eating better, getting your PMF and also taking some turmeric and some other supplements, you're going to do much, much better to recover the following day, because who likes to be sore the following day? And also, too, is the adjustments. How do they work? They restore motion in your spine. They decrease stress in your body, allows your body to have optimal functioning nervous system. The nervous system is the key because that's what heals your body. That's what keeps your body healthy. It's what reacts to when you have inflammation, how it needs to address and deal with that inflammation so it can get you healthier and move on. This is kind of sheets that we have in our office that talk a little bit about some inflammation protocols that we found to be very, very successful. If you have inflammation, fatty liver, toxic liver, you're going to look at these products here. Usually get rid of the inflammation. Why? Because they get rid of the source toxins out of your liver so your body can get better. Whether it's joints and knees, can also be here. So we kind of listed some turmeric. about 4 of them a day. If you're taking high quality turmeric, that's what you can take. You can take as many as 8 or 10 of them, especially if you have a flare up. You can actually take extra Ligaplex. Again, we would recommend 3 of those 3 times a day. There's your omega-3 krill oil and stuff. We recommend 2 of those twice a day for your omega-3s just to help out with inflammation. Detox program is also really, really good and avoid gluten. These detox programs can help get rid of the toxin in your body. Can't tell me people have joint issues that go away after they detox. Why? Because the joint's restoring the toxin your body was trying to pull them out. Gout is another one. Is usually inflammation. Anybody's had it around your toe, it's going to be very painful, sore. Again, it's inflammation that's kind of caused because of uric acid buildup. So again, the gout is a kidney issue. If you solve the kidney, these are all kidney supplements. They'll get rid of the gout pretty quickly. Here's our Lyme's protocol and stuff. So this helps out for Lyme, which is actually, again, inflammation inside the body. Urinary tract, again, infections, again, there's another sign of inflammation. So this is kind of inflammation sheet. So if there's things on here that you can find, definitely pick it up or ask the doctors on your next visit. Also, too, is we really recommend your detoxing thing. We do have a class coming up in April, but you don't have to wait till April to detox. We're going to have them available all month long. So make sure you get a chance to pick up a detox in our office. Again, very simple 10-day program. Gets rid of a lot of toxin in your body, gets you actually eating better. So with that and stuff, we can actually get you back to doing very well. The next thing is action steps. So how do we do this? Is number one, work with your nervous system to get it back on track, do some supplements as we talked about, the turmeric, the boswellia, and also lymphatic system. Also, too, is improve your diet. If you need help with your diet, that's why we have a nutritionist on staff. She can work with you getting your diet dialed in and stuff, which is why she's great. Do the detox. So it's a whole body detox. Do it now, or you can wait till when we introduce it in April. It's available anytime in our office. Or start PMF sessions. We actually have for 3 sessions for $99. So that's kind of the ways to actually get you back on track and hopefully help you with inflammation. So if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me here at the office, or Ashley, who is our nutritionist and stuff. We can have to solve some of these questions for you. So look forward to helping you out. Inflammation, anything laminitis is solvable. You have to solve the underlying root causes. We have ways to identify that and actually blood work to test for that, so we can get you back on track and get you the right supplements, get you the right diet program for you. All right. Hope you have a wonderful day and staying away from that inflammation or inflammaging.